Good morning, everyone. I just have one simple question this morning. How powerfully is God's grace at work in your life? And the reason I ask is the end of Acts chapter 4. I will read from 32 to the end of the chapter. All the believers were in one heart and mind. No one claimed that any of their possessions was their own, but they shared everything that they had. With great power, the apostles continued to testify to the resurrection of the Lord Jesus, and God's grace was so powerfully at work in them all that there were no needy persons among them. For from time to time, those who owned land or houses sold them, bought money from the sales, and put it at the apostles' feet, and it was distributed to anyone who had need. Joseph, a Levite from Cyprus, whom the apostles called Barnabas, which means son of encouragement, sold a field he owned and brought the money and put it at the apostles' feet. So obviously the line that stood out in that for me is in verse 33 into 34. And God's grace was so powerfully at work in them all that there were no needy persons among them. And then it goes on to detail what the people did. And I think it's important that it goes that way, that yes, there were all these people that came along and sold money or sold land and brought the money to the apostles for the poor. But it doesn't say that the rich were so generous among them that there were no needy people. It was that God's grace was so powerfully at work. So what I have to assume is that if we allow God's grace to more powerfully move in our life, it will drive us to good, that will direct our hands and our actions. It is simply an issue of us getting out of the way. So again, I just want to ask, how powerfully is God's grace at work in you? And the reason I phrase it that way of getting out of the way rather than building that up is I think that's the primary thing that we're asked to do is to not build up our lives but lay our life down. And so I hope that strikes you a certain way this morning. I know it did for me, but I don't want to get too specific because I know that words like that are often going to move in all of us in very different ways. So I just want you to dwell on those words this morning, and I hope that they mean something to you. So have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week, and Who Day this weekend. I hope you enjoy my new hat, and I will talk to you all soon.